G'day bike riders, I'm in Geelong again this week and we're going to look at a couple of minor improvements made to 2 points along the separated bike lanes on Geelong Street. I'm the Bike Route Buddy, bringing you bicycle infrastructure reviews from Geelong and further afield. Well, here we are in central Geelong on the Southern Bike Link, right at the start or the end depending on your perspective. The Southern Bike Link Stage 1 runs from central Geelong to the Barwon River along Geelong Street, Carr Street and Moorabool Street. Apart from being a bike lane to nowhere and featured at number 1 on our Bike Lanes to Nowhere video, there are some other issues that need some discussion. It just abruptly ends at Little Mallop Street and drops you out into traffic. All that needs to happen to connect it up to the Mallop Street bike lanes is to remove 10 parking spaces, and it connects to the green spine that runs east-west through central Geelong. But parking for 10 cars seems to be way more important than the safety of anyone riding a bike. Anyway, that is not what we're here for today. We are going to look at 3 locations: the southbound lane at Little Mallop Street, the southbound lane 1 block to the south at Ryrie Street, and the northbound lane just before it ends at Little Mallop Street. Up until September 2024, this is what the first section looked like. Although there was no parking permitted here, it seemed that there were always cars parked in here, and more often than not it was blocked. So many times I came along here and had to go out into traffic to get through. Just go around, you might say. But if that was the case, what is the point of the bike lane? If you're a family with kids and on your way to the ice cream shop on a Sunday afternoon, it is much more difficult to get the kids safely around a car that has deliberately blocked the lane. It seems that the temptation of the ice creams was too much for drivers to park 50 metres away, but that 50 metres might be beneficial and burn off some of the ice cream calories. Moving on to the Ryrie Street intersection, this one wasn't quite so bad, as there wasn't an ice cream shop right there, but it was still occasionally blocked with parked cars. Not quite as much of an issue, but that space is sometimes just too tempting not to put your car in it. On the northbound lane, the bike takes a bit of a dogleg around a tree that was retained when the bike lanes were installed. This section has not been separated with either wands or curb, so drivers think it is free parking, especially after 6 p.m, when the parking inspectors knock off for the day. Cars stop either in the bike lane or cross to the other side and park in the no standing area that is clearly visible with white marks in the road and a prominent no standing sign. Once one driver does it, other drivers seem to think it's okay and the number of cars multiply. I suggested to this fellow, who was desperately in need of an ice cream, that it wasn't parking space, and he didn't take too kindly to my suggestion. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt though, and assume that his sugar levels were low and that's why he was grumpy. In this section, I also found this repeat offender, who I have recorded no less than 4 times using it as his private free parking space. When I contacted the company, they took no responsibility for their employees breaking the law and said it was the driver's responsibility to park correctly. I wonder if they have the same attitude to their workplace safety. Enough of the background. Drivers parking here frustrated me and other bike riders around Geelong. I had asked the City of Greater Geelong a number of times about getting some more bollards installed, but I just seemed to get silence, or we are looking into it. Finally, I put a question to the City of Greater Geelong, and it was accepted for me to ask the question at the August 2024 council meeting. So on August 27th, I went to the council meeting and I asked, the Geelong Street bike lanes are regularly blocked by people parking their cars in them. This is particularly bad between Little Mallop Street and Ryrie Street, just up from the Little Mallop Street intersection. Despite sending dozens of photos of cars blocking the lanes to City of Greater Geelong, the problem continues and puts people riding in the bike lanes at risk. It is a problem during the day, and an even bigger problem after 6 p.m, when the local laws officers have finished for the day. We have also requested unsuccessfully that curbs or wands be installed in this section to resolve the problem. On Wednesday 24th of July, there were 6 cars parked illegally in this section. When will the City of Greater Geelong take this problem seriously, implement after-hours parking patrols, and install barriers in this section to protect the safety of people choosing to ride into the CBD? Unfortunately, the audio-visual at the meeting wasn't working, but the Mayor did read out a written response. Thank you for your question. The Parking Services team are aware of continued illegal parking obstructing the bike lanes in this area. Where offences are observed by officers, relevant enforcement action is taken. We are currently rostering parking officers through to 7 p.m. and later to address this issue. Our transport team have also issued a work instruction for an additional 6 bollards along this stretch of 11 metres at the departure side of Geelong Street, Little Mallop Street intersection, and 6 additional bollards along the stretch of 11 metres at the departure side of Geelong Street, Ryrie Street intersection. We expect these bollards to be installed in 6 to 8 weeks. I left the meeting feeling pretty good, but 50 metres away from City Hall, when I turned into the Geelong Street, guess what? 3 cars blocking the bike lane on the northbound lane. It took about 5 weeks for the new bollards to be installed, so let's have a look. Location 1, new bollards installed, but it seems a bit too convenient that there is still enough space left for 1 car to park in the bike lane. 3 or 4 more bollards would have finished the job off nicely, but the fixers pulled up short. I really have no idea why they weren't extended to the intersection. If we compare to another separated bike lane only 3 blocks away, curbs have been extended all the way to the intersection, so why pull up short here? One is curbs and the other is these plastic bollards, but why is there opportunity left for people driving to still break the rules and park here? We know that asking some people not to park there will have no impact, especially when the penalty for non-compliance is that I will ask you nicely again and hope that you comply this time. Separators need to be used to have any impact. Here is another example from further down Mirrabel Street, where the curbs are extended all the way to the intersection. Moving on to location 2, it's a similar situation, with the bollards not extending to the intersection. Drivers can still cut the corner and can still block this section, right at the intersection with Central Geelong's busiest through road. Moving on to location 3, not a single change, so a repeat offender is still free to park in front of the no standing anytime sign with impunity. I still don't know why more bollards weren't installed. It's not like these bollards are expensive. Maybe the active transport budget was fully exhausted after installing 12 new bollards. If you have any suggestions as to why the bollards weren't extended to the intersection, or why location 3 did not get some bollards, let me know in the comments. So, it looks like I'm asking another question at the next council meeting about why location 3 didn't have any changes made, and why location 1 and 2 weren't extended to the intersections. So what is the outcome of all this? If you keep pressing, asking, agitating and persisting, you might be able to get some improvements. But this is only a partial fix. I'm going to have to give this about a 5 out of 10. How would you rate this fix? So, is this a meaningful improvement or just a half-assed attempt? I'll leave that for you to decide. Thanks for watching again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm the Bike Route Buddy, and I'll see you riding in a bike lane that is separated from vehicle traffic all the way to the intersection.